Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at this week's pre-orders, and they are live. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Alright, so here we've got this week's pre-orders, and we know the main theme this week's pre-orders is the Dawnbringers. So we have the brand new Dawnbringers Book 1, Harbingers, Limited Edition, and then the regular book as well. And right off the bat, we know Games Workshop has already said this Dawnbringers Book 1 is only going to be 500 copies. So it is priced at $80, which is definitely high. Typically, we see these special or limited edition books slightly more expensive than the regular copy. In this case, the regular copy is $40 and this one is $80. So Games Workshop has actually doubled the price for the limited edition items. Now, it is, again, limited to only 500. It has some special features and everything. It's super cool. But the fact that it's twice as expensive now for the limited edition version is full on Games Workshop, in my opinion, either trying to take advantage of customers who like limited stuff or trying to combat scalpers. I don't know one way or the other which idea this is, but obviously if they can close the gap between what you pay for it and what somebody would pay aftermarket for it, that tends to combat scalpers. But the truth is, as long as there's a massive gap between what things cost in the UK and what they cost in the United States or the rest of the world, people are still just going to buy up everything they can from the UK and then just jack up the price and sell it all over. So we'll see in time if this works. Obviously, this is going to sell out. There's only 500 copies. I guarantee you it will be gone quick. So if you are after it, if you're after it at the retail price, I would not mess around on this. $80, and again, it'll be gone quick. And then the regular book is $40, and we've actually seen a couple cool things about this book that were not mentioned. So Games Workshop didn't specifically mention this, nor have they specified up to this point yet, but we do see the 4 new War Scroll cards for the new Dawnbringers. So I'm not sure if it's going to be the actual detachment or just the character, and it could be both, but that is very cool and was definitely not like disclosed previously. And if we just look down here, now I'm on the regular one, it does say this book includes an envelope containing the 4 War Scroll cards, 1 for each Harbinger, the Grimhold Exile, Marrow Scroll Herald, Harbinger of Decay, and Rabble Rouser. So that is very cool. So either one, whether you get the regular version for 40 or the special edition version for 80, you will get those War Scroll cards. And I'm absolutely loving that. I hope Games Workshop continues to bring the War Scroll cards over to 40K and starts to release them in all the box sets and with all the new models. I think that is an absolutely welcome change and very, very cool. And although we saw like the initial launch and sale of those cards, I think it's just a matter of time before we start seeing them do the same thing they do in Sigmar, which is include them in all the battle boxes or when a new unit comes out, etc. So very cool. $80 for the limited edition book, which I'm sure will be gone soon, and then $40 for the regular one. And then we see our 4 Dawnbringer box sets. So first we have the Maggotkin of Nurgle, and then we see the Fyreslayers, Gloomspite Gitz, and Flesh Eater Quartz. So these are some pretty cool boxes right here. I did the breakdown on them, and unfortunately, I think their price just a little bit high. So if you are after these sets, if you're after the new characters, it's definitely a deal. You're basically going to get about $60 free or like 1 unit free when you buy this box set. So if you were going to just price out everything, if the individual special character models were already available and you just went and bought everything at full retail price, you would basically get 1 of the units for free. So it's not a bad deal. It works out to about roughly 30 to 35% depending on the box. So it is a nice discount. Anytime you can get around 35% discount is pretty standard for the box sets from Games Workshop on the savings. Now occasionally we see like massive savings on something like the Leviathan launch box or new starter set, etc. But these are pretty in line with what you would normally get. And you'll notice also that a lot of times there'll be a big delay between when the character actually is available separately and when these box sets come out. So in this case, if you are after any of these specific like Dawnbringer detachments or the new characters contained within, this is probably going to be your only way to get them, at least for like a month or so. Sometimes we'll see them out a little quicker than that. Other times they'll be delayed for multiple months. You never quite know exactly how long. But this is first access going into the brand new season. And typically when Games Workshop releases something new, it usually has pretty good rules because obviously good rules help to sell great models. And we know for a fact that these are great models. Yet to find out if the rules are good, but I imagine they probably are. And these are definitely some super cool box sets if you are after any of these. And just scrolling down here next, we see the new General's Handbook, Pitch Battles, $50 for that bad boy. And I really like these books. I think they're one of the best things that Games Workshop does. They come with the awesome spiral binding. They have the full rules included inside. They come with like the updated rules for the endless spells and then everything for the new season. And it is $50 for this. But now we know not only is it going to last for like the 6-month season, but now they've extended the season to a full year. So that is just absolutely awesome. So now you're going to get a year's worth out of this $50 book and no more carrying around your regular rule book, etc. Definitely a big fan of that. And then we do see the new Blood Bowl Gutter Bowl set. So $60 for this. Originally, I wasn't sure how good of a deal this is. It just seems like a lot because there's no miniatures or anything in it. But a lot of the Blood Bowl players and community pointed out to me that actually this is a pretty good deal because normally the pitch set alone, like the game boards and the dugouts, would cost like $50. So you're essentially getting a new game mode rulebook included for $10. So it definitely seems like a nice deal for those of you interested in playing a little bit outside the typical league games. And then we had the revamp of the Underworld Denizens Blood Bowl team, the Underworld Creepers, and the Old World Alliance Blood Bowl team, the Middenheim Maulers. So $50 each for those, and definitely some nice models in these set. I'm not sure how good they are in the game. I've never actually played Blood Bowl, the newer editions, but definitely some cool models, and includes like all your little tokens and stuff as well. And then we see the Underworld Denizens team card pack and the Old World Alliance team card pack, one for each of the war bands. $33.50 for those. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now back to the video. And then mixed in here are a bunch of like the cards as well. But we do have some new stuff here. The King of the Spoil paperback. And then we see the Dawn of Fire Martyr's Tomb Book 6 in paperback. And then we have Grombrindal Chronicles of the Wanderer in paperback. And this is like a compilation of the stories. $18 for all those. And then again, splashed in here, we see Lords of Blood. And a cool little piece of art there with Commander Dante on the front. $25 for that paperback book. I did just want to point out also, I had mentioned that with these data cards that the Space Marines and the Chaos were substantially more expensive because it's $25, even though you get a ton of data cards, especially with the Space Marines. But if you were playing one of the specific chapters, you would have to buy the other set of cards also for like, I think it was $18. I mentioned that again with Chaos, and that's not actually the case. I completely forgot that you just basically get the regular Chaos cards, or you're going to buy like World Eaters or Death Guard or Thousand Suns. You're not going to need these regular cards if you're going to play Death Guard, for instance, or World Eaters, etc. So actually the Chaos ones are not nearly as bad. Now, granted, you don't get nearly as many cards in the set, so you really are getting what you pay for. And $25 for the Space Marine ones. I have seen these now, and they are super chunky. I mean, there is a ton of data sheets. But also, it is worth note that they've already put out an errata and some fixes on some of these data cards. If you have purchased them, there are already updates and changes. And also, there are a bunch more changes coming as well. If you haven't heard already, we know there's changes coming to Indirect Fire. There's some changes coming to Eldari, Fate Dice, Mechanic, maybe just units, etc. And then also Knights and the Towering keyword. So Games Workshop, like I mentioned, is already ready to address these issues. So for everybody out there that was stressing or breaking down on the internet, don't you worry, relax. Games Workshop is already on top of it, just like we knew they would be. So very good on Games Workshop to correct these problems very quickly and to essentially have their eye on the ball here. But that being said, if you already purchased these or you're planning on purchasing these, keep in mind that you do need to keep up with like the FAQs and erratas and some changes to some of these rules, some of these cards, etc. And then we see the last of this week's releases, the Children of Teclis hardback. Cool little story about the Elves of Sigmar. So that is going to do it for this week's pre-orders. Let's just jump back in here and see if Dawnbringer book is sold out. My guess is that the limited edition book is already sold out, but let's take a look. It is not. Still available for now. So if you're after Dawnbringers, it is still available. I'm actually a little bit surprised on that Typically, these things do sell out fairly quickly. Now, that being said, Sigmar is a lot less popular. The price is double for the limited edition book as opposed to the regular one, which has never been the case before. So I am really curious why the price has gone up so much on this book versus the regular version. If that is Games Workshop's attempt to kind of like bridge the gap and hopefully cut down on like the scalping a little bit for limited items, or if they're just taking advantage of that extra money, putting it in their own pocket versus in some middleman's pockets. Hopefully they figure something out and crack down on some of the scalping, but I don't want that answer to be that they're just going to raise the prices on everything to kind of close the gap in between what people are buying stuff for and what they're selling it for, because that's just worse for everyone. But yeah, definitely some cool releases this week. Let me know what you're going to be picking up, what you're excited about. I am loving these Dawnbringer boxes. I feel like they're priced just a little bit higher than I wanted them to be. I wish it would have been about 15 bucks cheaper. I think it would have really motivated people to pick them up and made them just a little bit more of a value. But I do really like all the new characters. Definitely some really nice models. Looking forward to seeing the rules and playing in this new edition of Sigmar. Let me know what you're most excited about, and if you're going to be picking any of these up, keep in mind CMO Games, link in the description, save 15% on your Warhammer purchases. Special thanks to them for sponsoring the video as always. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.